Good morning and Jai Hind children. I welcome you all in today's live class of chemistry. Children, we are discussing the chapter wastewater management. Is it? And in previous class, I have discussed about the sewer system, how the different pipes that comes from the homes get joined together and finally that wastewater goes to the wastewater treatment plant and then it gets disposed of. Okay, and I hope that you understood those all topics which I have discussed. Now, today I'm going to discuss the oral questions 1 of the chapter. Okay? And the question number 1 is sewage largely consists of wastewater. Where is this wastewater generated? So children, here you have to write down that places from where the different wastewater generated. Okay. So this wastewater is generated in our homes. It also generated from industries, offices, hospitals and other places. It is also generated as rainwater which runs down and lead through roof, ground and agricultural fields. Alright, so these all are the places where the wastewater generated. Okay, now come to the question number 2. And the question is, why are open drains considered to be unhygienic? So children, remember that we have discussed in previous class that the places where the drains are open, it's not covered. What happened? It easily gets blocked and that that wastewater gets overflow. So the open drains are considered to be unhygienic because there can be blockages in open drains and so the sewage may stagnate and even overflow. And because of this, what will happen? Yes, the breeding of mosquitoes, flies and other germs takes place that spread the different diseases. Alright, that is why it is considered to be unhygienic. Okay, now come to the next question number 3, and the question is no contamination of drinking water can occur if closed pipes are used for drainage of sewage. Is this always true? Explain. So children, first think about the question that no contamination of drinking water can occur if closed pipes are used for drainage of sewage. It is always true. So children, it is not always true. Okay, because yes, there can be leaks at the damaged joints in the pipes, and this could be a major risk for public health, particularly where the drinking water pipes and sewage pipes pass close to each other. Okay, and if this pipes gets leaked, so what can happen? Yes, this dirty water or wastewater gets mixed with the drinking water and it causes the different diseases. So that is why it is not always true because there can be leaks at the damaged joints in the pipes. Okay? So this is all about your oral questions first and I hope that you understood the answers. Now, children, come to the next topic of the chapter, and that topic is sewage treatment. Sewage treatment. Children, the treatment means that removal of impurities from the sewage water or wastewater. Alright? And the place where this removal or this treatment occurs is known as wastewater treatment plant or sewage treatment plant. Now, this sewage treatment consists of removing the solid materials from the sewage and also to make the liquid part of the sewage less harmful to humans and the fish when it is allowed to flow into water bodies. Right. And this sewage treatment involves physical, chemical, and biological process that remove the physical, chemical, and biological contaminants which are present in wastewater. Alright. So children, here all the contaminants are going to categorize in three categories. And these categories are the first one, physical, second one, chemical, and the third one, biological. Okay, so these are the three different kinds of contaminants which are present in sewage water, and these all gets removed by the, yes, different processes in sewage treatment plants. Okay, physical contaminants are contaminants like plastic bags, metal cans, etc. Chemical contaminants, the chemicals which are present in wastewater, like that detergents that comes from homes, different fertilizers and the pesticides, they all contain certain chemicals. So these are categorized as chemical contaminants. And the biological contaminants are the, yes, the harmful microorganisms which causes the diseases. So they are termed as biological contaminants. And these all together gets treated or gets removed by different processes at sewage treatment plants. Alright? So now we will study about the wastewater treatment plant. Wastewater treatment plant, and this wastewater treatment is done by different stages in these plants. Come one by one to study the, yes, removal of different contaminants from sewage water. And the first stage is called screening. What is first stage, children? Yes, the first stage is called screening. In this stage, the wastewater is first passed through screens of vertical bars which remove large solid materials such as plastic bags, okay, cans and sticks. A little in. So in screening process, what happens? That wastewater passed through vertical bars, and these vertical bars are responsible to remove certain substances like, yes, plastic bags, okay, it also responsible to remove cans and sticks. So these all substances which are present in sewage water or wastewater get removed in the first step of screening, and it is known as vertical bars. Get it? Now after this, the wastewater passed to the next step, and here that water is then passed to the settling tank which is known as grid chambers. Already did. The water after the vertical bars pass to the next part, and the name of this one is grit chambers. And in this grit chambers, what happens? Yes, the solids such as sand, silt and gravel, they settle down and removed. So these all solid materials get removed in grid chambers, whereas these large size solid substances get removed in vertical bars. Alright, so in screening stage, these two chambers are present. The first one is having the vertical bars through which the large size solid materials gets removed, and then the wastewater passed to the next chamber, which is known as grid chambers, are also the settling tank, and here the wastewater gets kept, and the solid waste such as sand, silt and gravels, they get settled down and gets removed. Alright, understood? This first stage, that is screening. Okay, now after this first stage of screening, now the second stage is there, and that is known as primary treatment. So the second stage of wastewater treatment plant is, yes, it is primary treatment. Now, in this stage, after this, that wastewater passes into a sedimentation tank, which is called the clarifiers. Okay, children, after the grid chamber, the wastewater passes the clarifiers, and this is also known as sedimentation tank. Okay, and here the organic materials such as, yes, gets settled down. The organic materials which are present in wastewater, they get settled down and are removed with a scraper. And this removed material is known as sludge. Get it, children? The organic materials which settle down here in clarifier tanks or sedimentation tank, and they all get removed by large size of scrappers. And after removing these all settled down impurities or organic materials, that is with the scrappers, so these all are termed as sludge. Okay, so what is scrapper? The material are a, yes, device which is used to scrap all the settled down organic materials in clarifiers are known as scrapper, and that all removed organic materials with scrapper is known as sludge. Okay, so children, you must have to know the meaning of these words. Now, the floating materials like oil and greases, they are removed with the help of a machine which is called a skimmer. So skimmer is a machine which is useful to remove the floating materials like oils, okay, and grease. As they all are floating in wastewater, so they get removed by a machine which is known as skimmer machine. And now the wastewater that emerges from settling dung is called the clarified water. Alright. So in second stage, that is primary treatment, the water passed to a tank which is known as sedimentation tank are also known as clarifiers. Here, the organic materials which are present in wastewater gets removed with the help of a scraper, and that removed organic materials are known as sludge, and the waste which are floating, that not get sedimented, which are floating in water, they removed by a machine which is known as skimmer machine. A little then. And now as the substances get removed by skimmer machine, that water is known as clarified water. Okay. Now the sludge which is removed here by scraper is used to obtain methane, carbon dioxide and a humus like materials by a process called digestion. So children, you must have to know that here the term is going to use digestion. It is a process in which what happens? The sludge which is collected are removed from wastewater, yes, gets used to obtain methane and also the, yes, carbon dioxide and humus. Get it? So by this digestion process, what happened? The sludge is used to obtain these substances. Okay, and it consists of decomposing the sludge with the help of anaerobic bacteria. How this digestion process takes place to obtain methane, carbon dioxide and humus? Yes, with the help of an bacteria, and that bacteria is anaerobic bacteria. So children, the bacteria are categorized in two groups, aerobic bacteria and anaerobic bacteria. Aerobic bacteria are those which need oxygen, okay, for growth. And the anaerobic bacteria, the bacteria that do not need oxygen to grow. So that is why they are termed as anaerobic bacteria. So in the process of digestion, with the help of anaerobic bacteria, yes, the sludge is used to obtain methane, carbon dioxide and humus. Get it? And the dried sludge, they can be used as a fertilizer. Okay? After keeping the sludge dry, after the removal of these all substances, it used as a fertilizer and the methane formed can be used as a fuel. Alright? The methane gas which is obtained from the sludge with the help of anaerobic bacteria, it act as a fuel and rest of them act as a fertilizer. Okay, so this one is the second stage of wastewater treatment, that is primary treatment. Now after the primary treatment, the next stage is secondary treatment. Alright, after the primary treatment, the next stage that comes is secondary treatment. And here, the air is pumped through the clarified water in an aeration tank. What happens here, children? Yes, that water, wastewater is pumped in the tank, and that tank is known as aeration tank because here air is pumped. Okay, and this allows aerobic bacteria here in this tank. Bacteria is present, aerobic bacteria. Okay, and as I already have discussed, the aerobic bacteria is the bacteria that need oxygen to grow. So these bacteria present in aeration tank and they grow and consume organic contaminants such as feces, food waste and soap still left in the water. Alright, that wastewater comes from primary treatment which still have certain impurities, say that organic contaminants like feces, food waste and soap, they gets, yes, removed with the help of aerobic bacteria in aeration tank. And this bacteria ultimately settle down at the bottom of a settling tank as activated sludge. Okay, children. So, what this sludge is known as? Activated sludge. The sludge are that aerobic bacteria which settle down at the bottom of the settling tank. It is known as activated sludge. And they are then pumped back into the aeration tank to be reused. Alright? And now the water is removed from the top and the dried sludge is used as manure here. Okay, in this process, again the sludge will form and now the sludge get dried and used as a manure. And this treated water now contains low level of organic matter and suspended impurities. Get it? So the next stage is there after the secondary treatment. And the next stage is disinfection. Alright? The next stage is disinfection. So whatever the low amount of organic matter and suspended impurities which are present in secondary treatment, now this water is then disinfected by adding a chemical, that is chlorine. So what happened in this stage, children? Chlorine is added, okay, to disinfect the water or by exposing it to ultraviolet rays. So in this stage, that water which have low level of organic matter gets removed by adding either the chlorine or by exposing them to ultraviolet rays because they both kills the disease causing germs. And now the water can be released into a water body such as a river or lake and used for agricultural or industrial purpose. Get it? So there are these four different stages by which the wastewater is going to treat it. And after the treatment, it can be used for agricultural purpose or industrial purpose. Alright, children? So I hope that you understood these all stages which involved in wastewater treatment plant. Okay. So what are the four different stages present there? The first one is screening. Second one, primary treatment. Third stage is secondary treatment. And the fourth stage is disinfection. Okay, and through these four different stages, one by one, the different impurities which are present in wastewater they gets removed. And at last, what you have seen? Yes, at last, the water can be used for agricultural purpose or industrial purpose. All right. So I hope that you understood this wastewater treatment plant. Okay. Now come to the next topic. And the next topic is better housekeeping practices. Better housekeeping practices. Children, a lot of the waste that we generate at home is thrown into the sink or flushed down the toilet. Is it? And this adds to the sewage finally. And the sewage is generally treated before being disposed of in a water body. Okay, so the same water body may be the source of water supply to the town. If it's get added to the rivers, so the river is the source of water supply to the town. And as these all waste gets directly, yes, thrown in this water bodies, so it is harmful for our health. And a few simple steps at home can minimize the strain imposed on the water supply system in cleaning the water for our use. Okay, so these steps are, the first step is do not dispose of cooking oils and fats in the kitchen sink. Alright, do not dispose of what? Cooking oils and fats. Okay, in the kitchen sink because they can block the pipes when they harden. Okay, so what we have to do? Yes, we have to throw them in dustbins. Get it? So this is one of the practice that for disposing the cooking oils and the fats, we must have to throw them in dustbin. We never have to dispose them in kitchen sink. Now the second practice is do not dispose of used tea leaves, solid food remains, sanitary napkins, etc. in the kitchen sinks or in the toilets because they clog drains and prevent free flow of oxygen that interferes with the decomposition process. So what we have to do? Yes, we have to throw them in dustbins. Alright, children. So the used tea leaves, solid food remains, sanitary napkins. These all, where we have to throw them? Yes, we have to throw them in dustbin. And the third practice is that do not dispose of chemicals such as paints, medicines, and insecticides in the sink because they kill microbes that clean the water. Alright, so these are the three different practices that we must have to use to minimize the, yes, the strain which imposed on water supply system in cleaning the water for our use. All right, children, understood these all practices? Okay, so I hope that you understood today's topic which I have discussed. Thank you and have a nice day.